Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to this daily the Past Randomizer League Season 5 broadcast here on... Are we on SpeedGaming 4? We're on SpeedGaming 4 tonight. Hello, and welcome to this open league tilt between Cabookey, Hundo, Activist Department. It's a lot easier to just call him Chad, huh? And Crystal Roller Crew, W. Garrison and IB Karma, respectively, for these two teams. Teammates the past 2 years. Now meeting on the battlefield for this Invitational match in Week 2. Both teams 2-0. I am Zeruvi, and joining me in commentary tonight is my dear friend Zeke Highwind. Hi, Zeke. Did I lose Zeke?
Very slowly.
Well, while Zeke hopefully gets a few packets back from the interwebs here, I'm also going to shout out our tracker tonight. Another member of Crystal Roller Crew, that'd be Zafikel. And of course, a big thank you, SpeedGaming, putting us on an open league broadcast on SpeedGaming. It's kind of a treat for these guys. What are we looking at tonight in Invitational? Let's see.
Well, it's inverted, so as one comment said, that obviously means we're starting Pyramid, putting the eyes away, and going back to bed.
Is that how that works?
Or we're starting Dark World. We have a sword because it makes it inverted a lot easier if you have a sword. And in order to avoid a lot of your low percent bosses, we've locked the big keys away outside of their dungeons. Big keys are wild, with one exception.
Yeah, that Ganon's Tower big key is still going to be somewhere within Ganon's Tower, so make sure you keep a number in mind later into this race. One other little caveat, it's called Invitational, homage to Ambrosia, where normally you would get a boots hint. We don't have a way to do that in Inverted as of yet, but we do have a way to put all the bosses in the pockets of an item. They will have a non-dungeon item on each boss that they clear.
And looks like we're going with a Dark Chapel start, which is our replacement for Sanctuary. Unfortunately, it doesn't come with a free item.
No, sadly, this mode, you don't get as many free items early on. In fact, there's really not too much you can look at yet in Inverted, which is why we're going to see these runners go straight to finding some bombs, because what is the number one place you would like to go when you first get Dark World access in a non-inverted city?
Skullwoods.
Oh. Well, we do see some... we do see some interesting information. That mushroom sitting on bumper, something hopefully we don't have to go out of our way for. But that's a tier 1 tree pull of 80 rupees. And that's a pretty big deal.
It is. We like having early money. And Garrison's going straight over there to buy bombs. And as you were hinting at that I completely obliviously ignored, yes, we want Hype Cave. Because there's several items there.
Yeah, Hype Cave happens to be the single most dense location in Sphere 1 in Inverted. So, naturally, you're going to want to get there as soon as you possibly can, and hopefully it throws you an idea where you want to go. Of course, not to discount the fact that you've got a few checks in Village of Outcasts that are easy to walk into.
I have seen more than one race where Fire Rod is just sitting here in Hype Cave. With our good friend Johnny Two Balls.
Garrison's going to give us a look at what is in this cave of 5 items, and where will it be something we want to see. That's a glove. I'd say that counts.
Sure. We'll say we want to see the Skull's big key as well.
You never know. It could be an item you need in the Skullwood's big chest. Maybe a hammer or a moon pearl.
Or a fire rod.
Or flippers. How about a book?
You just want it to not be a fire rod.
I would like it to not be vanilla. Yes, that is correct. So let's talk about these two teams for a moment. We're talking about the Open League. We're talking about Chad and Crystal Roller Crew. You see they both have 6 points. Both won their 2 games in co-op AD last week. They're at the top of their division right now.
One of them won't be after this game.
Yeah, right now, this early point of the season, this is a winner-takes-all, for now, asterisk kind of game.
And now, it's not just that this was the top of the division that you and I wanted on this commentary.
Yeah, I think we were both on teams that, had to play these guys last year, maybe?
Yeah. It's the only reason I'm slightly rooting for Garrison. Karma beat me last year.
Would you believe that I lost to Garrison last year?
Yep.
Personal bias aside, these are two very talented runners. Garrison had a deep run in Challenge Cup in 2021. IB Karma's been hanging around the circuit, and honestly, moving on to Final Fantasy randomizers, has come back to have a little more fun with A Link to the Past here with us, and I'd say either of these teams have a pretty good shot of making it in their division.
I would not be surprised. Both teams are strong, and both teams have good people.
So we didn't talk about it, but that was Garrison showing us everyone's favorite thing to do in Inverted, and that's farm money by playing the arrow game. That's the second best way to get money out of the arrow game. The best way, of course, is follow the same all the way across and get that X99 at the end. That takes a little bit of skill, though. That's a lamp that we see on Dig Game, though, and that could be telling us something right off the bat.
So, Ruby, what are your thoughts on Castle Tower?
Would you like the PG version or the...
I would like the SpeedGaming approved version, yes.
Okay. Castle Tower is a dungeon.
Thank you.
Castle Tower is a dungeon that could let us go running around the light world with a couple NPCs and checks we can make that may or may not have our Moon Pearl. Hopefully that's not the case, because we haven't seen anyone do Village of Outcasts yet. There's your Moon Pearl, and now the light world is in logic.
Yeah, except for the fact that we still have to go through Aga to get there.
Yeah, could very well be. Inverted has that nasty way of saying, well, you have considerably less checks that you can possibly make in the dark world in this mode, without us spitting a bunch of items out at you. So we're going to make you climb Castle Tower, which would normally be on the castle in the light world. It gets to replace Ganon's Tower in this mode. And then you can go peruse the offerings of Kakariko Village and all those other high item dense areas.
Trying to think of what else we still have. We got the book in Skullwood for reference. That's a very important item here.
Garrison?
Garrison?
Garrison? He realized his folly there, but I can't say I've ever seen anyone do exactly that.
Me either.
There we go. There's our map check. A green pendant on Meyer, a pendant on Skullwoods, which we already saw, and a red crystal on Swamp Palace. So we'll have our third pendant and our other red crystal in the light world.
Very useful information. You like to see Pendant Meyer.
And we're going to talk about that book for a moment. Inverted does have a number of geographical changes that make things a little bit easier to get to, because otherwise, how would you get to Graveyard Ledge when you normally have to mirror back from the Dark World? Well, they added a little stepladder to the cliffside there to make that accessible. In and among a number of things. One of the things that is actually harder to get to is Desert Palace.
Because usually our fast way in Desert Palace is to go to Misery Mire and mirror. The problem is, the mirror doesn't work in the Dark World in this game.
In Inverted, mirror goes from Light World back to Dark World. So, you won't be mirroring back to Desert. The only way into Desert in Inverted is with a book.
It's not the only thing that's been made harder with Inverted, but we'll talk about the mountain when we get there. Speaking of the mirror...
You know, that's interesting, because that puts a couple things into play already once we go up to the light world.
So, the mirror actually bypasses a lot of what in open would be your MITS checks. With one exception. But like, blacksmiths, you can just do...
I was trying to figure out where Garrison was going for a moment.
Yeah, blacksmiths, you can do without the Titansmiths by mirroring in front of the library to pick up the smith. I'm trying to have other MITS checks. Can you help me out here?
I mean, there aren't a ton of MITS checks that strictly require... hold on. I'm just... You put me on the spot. How could you?
The one where we do need the mitts, there is no... Okay, almost no way around it. King's 2. Oh no, a death to the Moldorms. That's unfortunate.
Almost in air quotes. There is technique that was recently ruled race legal out there, similar to the hammer pegs escape that is usually seen in entrance, that allows... Nice place for the ice rod? Wow. Okay.
There was a rod in the Skullwood's big chest.
Should we just call this the blue fire rod then?
Yep.
So I think that's the last check that we have before going up the mountain here.
It is.
What were we talking about? By the way, all you believers of the ice rod being in early spheres only if TR is a pendant, well, look at that prize counter right there on the tracker. TR is a crystal today. Meh.
And this is the scariest part of Inverted to me. That Dacto right there.
And I thought that mushroom was scarier than the Dacto.
How many hearts of damage do Dactos do?
We're in Oko.
I mean, Garrison's not.
Like, Garrison is, in fact, in Oko.
No, he's not. 3.
Is it 3?
It's 3.
I thought it was 4 for some reason.
The only enemies I know
Bumping into a Hinox is 4?
outside of dungeons is Lynels.
Oh. I thought bumping into a Hinox was 4.
That's also 3.
Man, I can't count.
Anyways, here's one of my least favorite parts of Inverted. And that is the old band quest. We have to take the scenic route.
Yeah, it is a leisurely walk up the mountainside. Luckily, the old man is still a bit fit, and he doesn't ask you to stop for a break.
Could you imagine that? Just a heart container on top of Spectacle Rock.
At this point, what would you want to see from these 2 checks here on Light Mountain? Hookshot?
Hookshot. Some way to survive the Lynels without having to completely play dodge the Lynel. Everyone's favorite game.
I mean, there are ways to ignore the Lynel's fireballs and body damage, typically involving the use of a bomb. Alright, so Garrison and Karma, pretty much after making opposite checks for a good while in the early points of the game, have been funneled very much onto this mountain now. And we only have 2 other checks we can make before a... Well, I had to say anything at all, didn't I?
Well, Ag is dead.
At
least
don't say that.
At least for now. We are probably not going to see Castle Tower, unless something is in that tree.
And voila! Without going up Castle Tower, we have Light World access. And Karma's like, I'll come back to the mountain a little bit later.
I mean, you just got full Dark World access, and you've... Dark World. That tells you how much of a memory it is to talk about these. You just got full Light World access, and you only have 4 hearts to play Dodge the Lynel with. Which do you want to do?
Well, now that you have a hammer, you can attack the Lynels. Or the Lynels will start taking damage to Tempered. Hammer does
Correct.
Tempered sword level of damage. Of course, why would you want to pound on a Lynel with the hammer? That's asking for trouble. As soon as you get close, they can just breathe fire in your face.
At least the fire only does 2 hearts of damage.
Alright, so we have a Light World map that we haven't seen yet. But we do know there's a pendant and a red crystal up for grabs somewhere here. And it looks like Garrison wants to see what's going on the east side of Death Mountain. So we're going to see a game of Dodge the Lionel. Meanwhile, Karma wants what's going on at South Shore here. Mini Moldworm Cave, a good 5 checks early on here. A little curious to route South Shore before Kakariko. As we know, Kakariko has, what, 17 checks that we can make?
It might be a case where Karma's planning on taking the Whirlpool down by Ice Rod Cave up to the north side of Kakariko.
Could be, could be. Lots of different ways you can get to Kakariko. Nice desert big key. Actually, we can already clear desert. Although
Provided.
if the key is not on the torch, it would not be in logic.
Alright, and red crystal is on Tower of Hera. Pendant is on Eastern.
So that book is going to end up required for our runners here. Ouch.
And crabs still do 2 hearts of damage. I swear, they belong in the Dark World.
But this is the Dark World.
Oh, right.
It's inverted. Everything's upside down.
Including our frowns.
Our tracker Zafika letting us know we have taught Karma the power of whirlpools. I didn't realize HM07 was a thing.
That's HM06, my friend.
Oh no.
7's waterfall.
I told you I couldn't count. Remember how many enemies deal 4 hearts of damage? Because I don't. This is turning into like this is a trope now whenever we get on the mic. Anyway, Karma continuing on the path here. We're actually converging on Hyrule Castle here.
Hyrule Castle's hard to route in unless you do it early. Before you say anything, I'm sorry.
I wasn't going to say anything, but now you open up that can of worms. Anyway, nothing doing here, it looks like. Got $50 extra. Of course, Zora is in logic with the glove. Yes, Zora is in logic with the glove. For those who forgot, everyone's favorite scam fish. And it's actually easy to get back to Catfish as well.
Yeah, because you can mirror from the Zora area to visit our friend Catfish.
There we go. So in a moment of awkward, we did lose a few frames from Garrison, but we didn't lose anything of dire importance just yet, because our first check is going to be right here.
But Ruby, we won't know how many guards are in the front of Hyrule Castle.
Well, this is a pretty convenient situation for our runners here today. The map chest in Hyrule Castle having the small key is kind of neat. You can go from front to back and route in the rest of your checks through Lost Woods like you were playing standard.
Just make sure to pick up Graveyard Ledge while you're near it.
And that mirror is pretty nice too. Because now you don't have to worry about taking the Death Warp here.
This is a weirdly convenient little Hyrule Castle. Where are these key layouts when we play, Ruby?
Buried so deep, you need more than just a shovel to get to them. You need all of the fetch quests combined. We already know where 2 of our fetch quests are. We don't know where the powder or the shovel are yet, though.
Or the cape to get to the mushroom.
And
we also
better,
now know everything's an item going through the back.
Yeah, these 2 going on the same path here. You almost wonder what kind of wiggle it's going to take to give one or the other an edge.
That's Kane, not Edge.
You had to, didn't you?
Yep.
Must you?
Yep, I must.
I would almost say, just by virtue of getting to the light world a little bit faster than Garrison, Karma does have the knowledge and the obtaining of the Desert Big Key. So that is something that could be routed down to. You could also mirror back to the Mire area. So the flute really doesn't do as much for us here now.
It does leave Karma a pretty clean route going this way through Kakariko down to Desert and Mire.
It does indeed. Although it does, the unfortunate death on South Shore does mean that we have isolated Ice Rock Cave for quite some time. Unless, flippers happen to show up relatively soon.
Yeah. Like in the back of Escape or something?
See, now that you've willed it into existence, here it comes.
Now you've tried to jinx otherwise, it's not going to be here.
You can play this game all day. Hey, how about an Eastern Big Key for Penn and Eastern? My favorite.
I was going to say, do you want to go to Penn and Eastern?
Without a bow? I would say no.
Maybe these runners think otherwise. I forgot to keep track of when their escape timer was, but 19.5 minutes seems like it was a slow standard escape.
We're not even playing Randomizer. What's going on? All kidding aside, it is not every day you get to do an front-to-back Hyrule Castle in inverted and not feel pained by it.
And Garrison is remembering to pick up this Graveyard Ledge check. Here's the first of our overworld modifications. This stepladder is actually kind of nice.
There it is. There's a shovel.
Yep, that's a shovel. I can dig it.
And gonna see Karma do the same thing, pick up the shovel, and just kind of wander off in this direction. Garrison do you think you might have a look at Lumberjack just to rule it out?
I mean, it's so slow.
Yeah, Garrison wants none of that. He is going straight into Lost Woods here.
About all I'd consider doing it for is playing with that tree pole tree up nearby.
Well, I mean, you've got a tree pull tree right here, too. And we already know you got $80 on every tier 1, so you can just pull a tree and call it good. Every single time. Karma wants to see what's going on with this Lumberjack ledge. And apparently blueberries are abundant today in the forest, because that was just 3 bombs on both spots.
I've heard you don't want to eat those berries. The results are kind of explosive.
As in the berries are exploding with flavor?
Exactly.
Well, I'll tell you what's flavorless, and that is the Lumberjack ledge. This is fine indeed. Alrighty. We're only just making it to Kakariko at 20 minutes? Must be playing inverted.
I mean, this is fast for some Kakariko clears and inverted. I've seen scenes where you don't make it here until an hour.
Karma?
We're getting a pedestal check.
Karma wants to know, is it pedestal? Well, we're calling for information. You're going to get exactly what you asked for. 10 bombs on pedestal.
So many times.
Uncle, why did you leave those there?
I think that's the one item in this game that is not in the vanilla item pool. I think. Is there a 10 bomb in the vanilla item pool?
I honestly couldn't answer that for you, my friend. Oh, was that a bush bomb that just tried to take Karma back into the dark world for us? Oh no.
So far, we have found a lot of not that much here. That's an important big key, though, and those are flippers.
The flippers. That's pretty good, I would say, for Garrison. Because it will probably incentivize him to go get his desert big key and follow up on some other things. But it's also going to save Karma from leaving Ice Rod Cave forever. There's no easy way to get back to Ice Rod Cave in this mode. Even if you find a flute, it's only active in the Dark World.
So, I'm kind of curious where a hookshot is right now, looking at our items.
You're feeling Swamp Palace already?
I'm always feeling Swamp Palace, and you know it.
And it could be on the sick kid here. We do have... Actually, now, what? Is it 2 or 3 bottles?
That's 2. I was very fast to say Swamp Palace.
This will be 3 for Karma, actually. Because he found a bottle in Mini Moldarm Cave.
I love just how peaceful this MSU gets.
We are going to see the menu to the mirror here. Here's another little change that you can do in Inverted. After peeking at the library, Garrison's going to give a smith chain, probably.
I mean, it makes sense to do it now before you go south, because you can take purple chests with you. Poor Zafkel, he's watching Karma run around at 1 heart for most of this Kakariko.
I mean, if you don't get tired of the low health beep...
You just have to not run into a bomb. Like that.
Yeah, wants to know what MSU we're hearing. We have Garrison's audio right now, and he is giving us the Etrian Odyssey series MSU.
It's a fantastic MSU.
I have a feeling he might even know who made it.
I believe Garrison knows very well who made this MSU. For all of our dodging the point, that's our last bottle.
Congratulations! We have known bottle percent at 25.5 minutes in.
Garrison knows very well who made this MSU, because Garrison made this MSU.
As Karma wants to do the exact same, pick up the smith, turn him in. Understandable, really.
I mean, when else are you going to route this
in? Is this going to be a legal point on the mirror? It is.
You always have to worry with Light World beers.
Inverted mirroring is hard.
I mean, mirroring is hard. Hey, we're coming up on another one of our geographical changes.
I mean, this was always here. Wait, no. Yeah, this was always here. This is the Grove. You just dig here and you get a flute and vanilla.
Oh, right. I was waiting for it to be a flute after I was making that joke.
It's blue.
It is blue. Yeah, there's something missing down here. Do you see what's missing?
Is it a big key? That is a key, indeed. That is not what we were really thinking about, but that may be important.
Yeah, we're kind of missing something that's normally there in the Light World. There's usually this great big ledge there.
I mean, we don't call it Cave 45 ledge. Should we?
No, because that's just extraneous information.
Alrighty, so that's purple chest. Smiths are taken care of already. That was easy. Imagine the power of the mirror in Inverted. You only have 1 glove and you've still done smith chain. Ooh, that may or may not be required.
Pendant Meyer Big Key. Our last Pendant Meyer Big Key. That is what I just said.
It's our only Pendant Meyer Big Key. I don't know how I feel about doing the Agena check first. I mean, I kind of understand it from Garrison's perspective, not having the desert big key. But I would still rather do checkerboard first.
Just because it's easier to save and quit out of your Agena's cave.
Of course, we don't know if he plans on going into desert or not. He could just as well mirror back from Mire Shed and call it good. Of course, Karma's going to pick up his Bombos medallion. Bombos, we already saw, according to Garrison's tracker, is the entry for the front of TR. Of course, you can't do much in Turtle Rock without a Cane of Samaria, although in this mode that changes a bit if you can get onto Light Death Mountain.
Which we're missing one item to get to Light Death Mountain.
One item in two different circumstances.
That's actually the only medallion we might need. That is Bombos on Ethan. Bombos on Misery Mire.
Is that our fourth? I've seen, I think, 4 double medallions in races this week. Of course, we can't go into Mire right now. We don't have a way to actually get in. You need hookshot or boots to do so. Now, this is kind of unfortunate, I think, for Garrison, as he is going to make this dive into Desert Palace without the big key.
Maybe there will be something important over here. Remember how you disagreed with doing Agena first?
Yeah, now I get to be mad at Karma because he's doing the same thing.
I disagree with it more in Karma's current situation.
Yeah, especially since he has the ability to do everything but the torch in Desert Palace right now. Like, if it's a dungeon item on the torch, Karma can full clear desert.
We'll find out when Karma gets there, because unfortunately, Garrison's stream has decided to freeze again. Isn't technology great?
If it works, yeah. Was that a key on the torch?
That's a small key.
That is the small key on the torch. So this is an out-of-logic Desert Palace. And unfortunately, we don't know if Garrison got an item out of the map chest. I guess Karma's going to show us in just a second. Well, about 10 seconds, but you know. How much do you think Garrison's going to be upset when he... Oh, he's going to save and quit from here. Okay, that's reasonable.
It's faster to go from Link's house and take the portal again than to walk. Especially where he's going to go straight down and do the floodgates still, too.
I say, I don't know, with potted Eastern big keys, I'd almost be tempted to go over there.
So, what Karma wants to see right now is an item in the big chest, not a map or compass.
Right, because if he finds the map here, since the compass was in the map chest anyway, then we know there's 2 items blocked by... Was it a piece of heart?
That was a piece of heart.
So we know there's 1 item blocked by the boots. Alrighty, and South Shore for Garrison now. And he will have his 4th bottle.
That's a lot of bottles.
You know, sometimes these inverted seeds go rather quickly, and sometimes they take a little bit to open up here. This one is being a little stingy with what we've got going on.
I mean, you say it, but we have access to a lot of dungeons. We just can't clear most of them.
Yeah, I mean, you can do Ice Palace without the big key. It's not logical, however, you can get 7 of the 8 chests in without the big key. And actually, we do have the ability to go in with that Bombos medallion, 1 glove, 1 hammer. You'd just rather do it with the Cane of Samaria, because Icebreaker's that much faster.
I'd rather do it with more than 1 sword.
I mean, yeah, you've got a hammer. That counts, right?
Kind of. And we've got Landmola's coming up, and we're going to go over to the Ice Road Cave on Garrison's side.
Yeah,
so
Karma
this... Go ahead.
said. Karma unfortunately took a death on the way here earlier with considerably less HP. Garrison is going to be able to not only do Ice Rod K, but now that we have Flippers, we can do all the Flippers checks as well. And if you've enjoyed fighting Lamellus with the Fire Rod and had a blast with how fun and easy that fight is, try fighting with the Ice Rod. It feels completely different.
And significantly worse.
The same amount of damage, just that much slower.
Good recovery with the hammer, and that's just money. Makes you worry if boots are late on the progression in that case.
And while that may be the case, it's still our first blood on this match, as Karma will pull his first crystal out of Desert Palace.
Hey, look, another geographical change. There's a ladder here.
What, you mean I'm not supposed to swim up onto land?
Those are called major glitches, Ruby.
Oh. That seems like more your expertise, anyway.
That's why I can say that with such a surety.
Hey, remember when I said I'd be tempted to go to Pod Easter in this situation?
I mean, it is more tempting for Karma. He's already done... Ooh, that's a sword. But Karma's already done most of South Shore. But we're getting the pyramid.
Now, our tracker, Zaffikel, is... Zaff, feel free to lay into your teammate as much as you want. To be completely honest, Mirror is probably one of the best items when you're trying to do checks across worlds. Doesn't matter if you're playing Inverted or Entrance. Well, not only are we picking on Karma for not mirroring from Hyrule Castle to Pyramid, and now walking up to Pyramid just now, Karma, you could have checked Mire Shed.
It didn't even... I'll be honest, I didn't even notice he hadn't. I was watching Karma's Garrison swimming around. That's a bow!
That's huge. That's gonna be
bad feeling for Karma here.
Oh boy, that is a full clearable pod in Eastern for Garrison. And depending on where that... Oh my goodness, there's Mitz.
That's the mountain.
So, you know, if you just follow the flippers, the seed appears to be widening up quite a bit here. I think the only thing that really helps Karma out in this immediate circumstance is if the other bow is just sitting over here in one of these two dungeons or with Saw.
I don't want a French vanilla bow and pen in Eastern.
Why not? I guess, we're not going to see Zora. We're just a little short. I should say, we're not going to see Zora from Garrison. We might still see Zora from Karma. A lot of different ways you could route around this. You could have gone directly to Eastern and then mirrored back for Saha's Closet and then Pod, but in this case I feel like you are looking for specifically a bow, so you wouldn't want to ditch on Saha's Closet. Alright, so Pendant Eastern, Crystal Palace of Darkness, both of them are full clearable for our runners here. Karma deciding to look at Eastern first. Of course, Karma's the one without a bow, so anything he scopes out of here is just going to be pretty nice for Garrison moving forward. Once again, mirroring is hard.
It's hard to remember where you can mirror from in the Dark World.
Yeah, there's a couple different circumstances where you can put your mirror down and think you're going to be perfectly fine, and then you're not. Alright, so W. Garrison makes his way over to Eastern, as Karma has already shown us a couple checks in front. Nothing too exciting yet. Pretty sure I've seen 50 rupees out of the map chest, and that's really all she wrote.
We've seen 2 items.
Oh wow, already?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's gross. We know the 4th item is going to be on the boss. And yes, I did say 4th, because with the changes to make the big keys wild, and the boss always guaranteed to have an item, there is an extra dungeon item in each dungeon. So each dungeon front dive is still worth its original value of however many items the dungeon would normally have. And the boss still has something.
And we have found all the items, and there was nothing in the front of Pendant Eastern.
That does not mean Armos Knights don't have something. They could very well. I don't like leaving that mirror portal there.
Nope.
Because now you're gonna get stuck on the transition point when you have the monkey. And end up back in the light world again.
This monkey.
Yeah, this little trickster here, he takes your money and goes, hey, we're gonna open this door, bippity-boppity-boop. So this hurts.
Yeah, I like Garrison's spot better.
Yeah, that's about where I would normally mirror in this circumstance. So you get hit back, you have to use another bomb. Luckily, bombs are literally growing on trees in Palace of Darkness.
And by on trees, you mean into ground.
Are we suggesting that bombs are mushrooms?
No, they're flowers.
Okay, so are we suggesting that blueberries are flowers?
I love that we somehow end up in pod side by side.
And, well, it is a bow-locked Palace of Darkness, so this is going to be, in Karma's eyes, a sequence break. We do know it's in logic for both of our runners.
What would be the ideal thing for Karma to find here? The other bow.
Oh man, the other bow, you know, logical silver to be one thing. I feel like for Karma to even... I don't think there's really anything I would say Karma would gain any advantage of in here. Because no matter what he gets, Garrison's gonna get it too. Like, he would have to be the other bow. But if that's the case, then Garrison will have silvers, and Karma's not likely to go to Catfish anytime soon. Unless he gets drawn there by going to Zora. Of course, mitts are in the waterfall cave, so we have light Death Mountain access by virtue of those mitts.
That's a map.
Wow. Okay then.
What was the item in the front?
The compass. Everything in the back is an item. Except for the 2 keys, obviously they have to be there. So you're gonna have 5 items, 2 keys in the 7 checks and back, plus an item on Helmasaur King. Karma? Karma wants this extra key, he's gonna mirror back and open the front door. That's reasonable since he currently doesn't have a bow.
I mean, Garrison did the same thing, but is doing it in a slightly different order.
Yeah,
That
he
saves screen transitions.
Yeah, he just dropped down and grabbed the basement key and mirrored right back. Garrison?
I thought he was going to the boss.
I mean, he had just mirrored, so I think he just forgot the switch state. Because when you walk through there, you kind of want to put them back up, but if you mirror it, they reset back to default. Having a key in hand, Karma's going to go ahead and hammer jump here.
I mean, it's guaranteed 3 items.
Oh, that's... piece of heart. Not really what we're looking for.
I think we found all the keys. That's a big key. That's required.
Sure is. That is a crystal in Thieves Town. And
That's nice.
Not necessarily required. Still nice to see. And that's everything we can see that isn't Helmosaur. So, unfortunately, no bow back here for Ivy Karma.
So this does mean Karma will have to make a return trip to Palace of Darkness.
It does indeed. Which is rather unfortunate because there's no easy way to get to Palace of Darkness. Even if you had a flute, it's still a bit of a walk. The best way to get there from here, you can at least take a shortcut if you go through the Light World Transitor and the mirror in front of Eastern, but still.
It's not very fast.
No. Walking over here is never fast.
Right, and that's going to take Karma probably to Thieves Town, honestly.
So now we get to start speculating over where the other bow is going to be. And if you say Ganon's Tower, gosh darn it, Zeke.
It's just where it always is, isn't it? Fine, I'll say it's not in Ganon's Tower. Pyramid Fairy.
Pyramid Fairy behind 5-6 Hera and Swamp.
No, I'm just making a joke at being vanilla while we're going to the Homa.
Of course. Vanilla Silvers that Karma could just walk over here to. Or after, rather. At least Karma is going to go ahead and make some headway out of Thieves Town here. I don't remember how many items we saw out of the front.
Me either, actually. I didn't count. I want to say at least 2.
I mean, 2 out of 5 ain't bad.
I know it's at least 2 because we didn't get a small key.
Alright, Garrison versus the Helmosaur King for a crystal. And here we go. 17 pounds of the hammer to the face mask. And let's see, with Master Sword you could either 8 slash or 4 spin or set up with hammer. Well, hammer hitbox is really awful.
Yeah, we don't have spin speed for making that hammer easier, but there's a spin.
Well, that's a compass in Thieves Town for Karma.
Alright, and down goes our good friend Helmosaur King.
We have something that we need. Yes!
We
Greg
rescued
the
my
first.
friend Greg.
And that would be Garrison's first crystal.
Probably also going to go to Thieves Town shortly.
Yeah, I feel like you follow up on that Thieves Big Key when you find it, regardless of whether or not you were able to clear Palace of Darkness. Now, first, you might see Garrison go ahead and chase this bow into Easter. We know the 3 items in front are nothing. We don't know what's on the Armos Knights, because Karma couldn't show us.
Something about not having a bow.
So let's see here. We will not be seeing the key at Thieves Town as it is in the big chest. So that leaves the item left on blind, and that'll be all she wrote here.
And the answer seems to have been we had 3 items up front.
You know, those mitts are really kind of talking to me, Zeke.
Something about Death Mountain?
Something, something, something mountain. Something, something, something. 2,000 drop downs. Have fun.
Please, it's not 2,000. It's like 7,000.
It's at least 8,000.
No.
No? Are you sure?
No, that was for where I was going to go next.
Okay. No, don't even make that reference. We weren't going there. Oh, the blind script deciding not to play dice with Karma. He takes a couple extra knocks of fireballs here, but blind down. And does blind have anything for us?
We won't know.
The world may never know.
Unfortunately, we are having a few difficulties. I'm going to blame Twitch.
Be nice.
I'm going to blame Twitch, not the runners.
So we know for one thing that Karma did not get a sword. We also know for another that Karma got a crystal.
That we do know. Where do you go next, Karma?
Well, I think Karma's feeling that Swamp Palace. Can you really blame him?
It's either that or Zora area.
Zafika letting us know it was a piece of heart. Thank you, Zaf.
Thank you, Zaf. Shoutouts to Zafika. Having the gumption to track this race and watch his teammates. Which, let's be honest, watching teammates is not always the least stressful thing in the world.
You're telling me.
Shush you.
Okay, luckily Karma does. Oh, he's going to be kicking himself so hard in a moment. Oh no. Okay.
He is going to be happy to get the sword, though.
He's going to be extremely happy to get the sword. And then he's probably going to throw a controller at the bow.
I hope not. Controllers don't deserve that kind of abuse. Hey! That's our other friend, Greg!
Oh, this game can only make up so many jokes. At that point, you don't need the pendant, but Garrison has not yet read the pedestal, so he's going to pick it up anyway.
The fact that there's a Greg on each of the bow bosses is actually kind of hilarious. That's actually kind of a new joke for the rando.
That's... the seat needs to be re-rolled. I don't think so. It's perfect just the way it is. Yes, it is!
Yes, it is!
It's amazing! But while we pick on Zapical, we are going to just make a moment here to shout out all of our trackers for Late to the Past Randomizer League. Past, present, and future, because without you guys, we are completely lost, I promise.
I've had to do commentary where tracker ended up losing power. We were lost.
Pro tip, don't let Zeruvian track your races. You'll still be lost.
I've watched you play this game. You don't know how to track? Hi, we're very good friends and we heckle each other all the time.
What do you mean I don't know how to track?
You heard me.
I know full well how to track. I just choose not to.
I am starting to wonder where the cake might end up today.
We know where it's not.
To answer a question in chat, Greg is a meme stemming from the Ocarina of Time community, where there's actually only one green rupee in the item pool instead of two. And so, you know, viewers loving silly things like single green rupees or single arrows made a meme out of it, calling it the green rupee of eternal glory, aka Greg.
There's your ultimate feels bad for Karma. You just went through all of Eastern and Palace of Darkness, and where's your bow? In the worst spot.
I mean, that is in fact a sphere... 3 bow?
Sphere 3. Lamp and Glove in Sphere 1, Hammer and Moon... Well, Lamp, Glove, and Moon Pearl in Sphere 1. Hammer in Sphere 2, and that is accessible with the Hammer, Sphere 3.
Alright, here's the check that got isolated by Garrison. And it's a hook
Oh,
shot!
that hurts. That hurts. 'Cause when do you go back to catfish?
Yeah,
Not catfish.
when do you go back to
No.
This is a disaster of a scene now. So, hey, remember that dungeon I was talking about earlier? About how we want a hook shot?
Swamp Palace?
It's looking a little bit better now.
Ice Palace, right?
I was referring to Swamp Palace.
Swamp Ice.
Swamp Palace.
So now wait a minute. We also saw Karma go out of his way for the blue mail. A little bit of safety can go a long way, especially if you end up in a circumstance where you're diving into Ice Palace looking for the Cane of Samaria, for example.
I mean, you're already right there. You have to make the choice whether or not you want that blue mail then. And honestly, safety isn't the worst thing. Because taking the time to get that blue mail is faster than dying.
Yeah, I've heard dying is deadly. You should really not try it. So, try a change of clothes instead. It's pretty nice. Speaking of not dying, please do not pull a Ruby, Garrison. Thank you.
And remembering to use your safeties is very important.
Quiet you.
Wasn't saying anything.
You didn't have to. It still hurt. Now, we have Crystal Swamp on the mind. We do not have the Swamp Big Key just yet. But I would be willing to hazard we're probably going to skip left side anyway. Now, Garrison has... Oh, does he go into Hookless Swamp? Are we going to see a turnabout play? No, he doesn't. He's always going to Ice. Ooh.
Now, actually, Ice is good here because Garrison does have the option after Ice Palace. No, we're getting a potion. We want a potion to go into Ice, maybe.
Yes, absolutely. This is a setup for Ice Palace, especially since you just used your blue potion. And sitting on... It doesn't matter how many hearts you have. You're still in green mail.
Don't use up all your rupees.
Cold Stare hurt.
He might think to go check Zora and get that blue mail first, too.
Oh, he wasn't going to Ice. Is he going to Swamp?
No, don't.
Garrison, don't. No. Is he going to Desert? He can clear Desert. We still have one item on right side we don't know about between our two runners because we haven't found the boost just yet.
This is Desert. Why do both fish have major items?
Why do both fish have major items of progression? Like, they both lead to more of the seed.
And we are getting left side swamp.
It's a man after my own heart. IB Karma has given me left side swamp. Oh, wow. Okay, Garrison wants the big key of Mire, even though we can't go into Mire. Picking this up now is actually pretty keen.
Oh, you don't want to put the bomb down before flooding the room. The X-ray and Scylla does lag that room out.
Alright, so we're going to see the desert clear now for W. Garrison. Unfortunately, we won't be seeing the item on right side yet as a result of that. And we are seeing a diver down with bombs from IB Karma, hopefully.
This sprite does not look like the most fun to try and line things up with.
I mean, why would you try to line anything up? All you're supposed to do is jump.
So which sword's the Master Sword? Is it like a defense sword?
I mean...
Anyways, FF4 jokes aside... What's here on the left side? Could you imagine a compass on left side swamp?
I can imagine a big key. Oh, wow.
of this dungeon. Were you about to make the joke for it too?
I was not, but I was given it anyway. Well, we're not leaving anything in Swamp today, that's for sure.
That's disgusting is what it is.
Hey, check out this raid we've got from our friends at the ALTTPR League. Hi, welcome, welcome. This is our open league matchup between Cabookey Hundo Activist Department and Crystal Roller Crew. And we're about an hour in, and right now we've got, well, we had orphans on both sides, and then Karma unorphaned one and got something that Garrison orphaned.
Namely, Garrison's not been to visit King Scamfish.
Which one?
The one who takes your money and not just your time.
I mean, time is money.
That's what they say.
Anyway, I see another bomber down from Karma. Oh boy. Nope, not this time.
Looks like a little bit of D-pad trouble there. Ooh, 2 on the first cycle with the ice rod. Nicely done.
And that is now 3 crystals for W. Garrison. To IB Karma's 2. He still has to return to Palace of Darkness after getting his bow off Catfish. And Karma has remembered to count his items. We know that's a map in the waterfall chest.
I was gonna say, we're walking past the chest.
Sure are. There is an item on the boss, but not anything sooner.
Oh boy. Here's the mountain for Garrison.
This is gonna hurt, especially if there's anything in Hookshot Cave later.
Or Tower of Hera.
Well, that's right, he doesn't have the Hera big key. And he doesn't. Oh no. This is getting kind of scary for Garrison right now.
We wanted a good race. I think we're getting it.
Oh, we sure are. There's little things on both sides that could end up not going very well. Like, obviously, with Karma having to double dip pod because of where that bow was placed. But it might be some time before Garrison goes back for the hookshot. The hookshot already known to be required.
Already known required because of,
Crystal Swamp Palace.
Crystal Swamp. Unless you know a legal way to get back here without the hookshot.
Not an NMG, I don't. You just death hole Argus, that's fine. Not in this tournament, you can't.
I said legal.
I said not an NMG. It's legal and no logic.
This isn't no logic.
You're sure right that it isn't no logic. Kind of glad it's not no logic. So
why would they let us on the commentary for no logic?
I mean, well, at the very least, you're right at the door when you take this death, but it's still not a very fun death to take.
And
so we're looking
ice.
Yeah, we're seeing ice from IB Karma. Ice is, regardless of its layout now, with the hookshot, it's in logic. And, well, yeah, with the hookshot, it's in logic, period. Because the boss can't have a key. The boss has to have an item.
Hey, Ruth.
Yes.
We need a cane and a fire rod.
I know. And one or both could be right here for all we know. Is that really all we need? We don't even need any big keys. We have all of our big keys.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Garrison's having a little trouble with these laser skips today.
You know, in another situation, you'd be happy to see that Quake Medallion, but not in this one.
You mean the situation of we've already got all of our medallions?
About the situation of yeah. Well, see, according to the trackers, and I would be willing to believe this, I don't think Karma looked at both entrances. He might have seen Meyer, but I don't remember him walking over to TR.
He did not see Meyer, remember?
Oh no, he didn't. He never mirrored back to Meyer. Oh no.
Remember, we were heckling him about this.
Were we? Yeah, we were.
Or at least we were heckling Zafkel about worrying about this.
Well, you remember to mirror back to Catfish, at least. Oh. Oh, no. Okay, so, hey, everybody. Remember that old, timely method of getting through Ice Palace? This is good old Ice Palace bomb jump. Still relevant to this day.
I mean, I knew about it because it's the legal way in the speedrun.
You were doing NMG earlier, weren't you? Excuse me, big key to Ice Palace and Paradox Cave, what? We were saying we need something for Garrison to get back over to the Zora area. Well, there it is.
Yes, it is. But the problem is, how long will it take him to get there? It would have to be something major in the Ice Palace Big Chest for it to flip-flop heavily again.
Question.
Yes?
Does Garrison know the Turtle Rock Big Chest bomb jump?
I don't know how much cross keys he plays. That's primarily a cross keys jump.
Because he could still mirror back from Mimic Cave to get that check if he could do that jump. Imagine a circumstance where it's like Kane of Samaria and the Turtle Rock Big Chest.
Can we not imagine that? It's probably just right here, in the Icebreaker chest.
No, that's just a key. The one thing I'm not really high on with this situation is that Garrison, now, similar to Karma, having to go back to Pod to get his crystal, now Garrison's going to have to come back up the mountain to go to Hera.
Unless the big key's up here.
But Zeke, Karma has the big key because it was in Swamp, wasn't it?
Oh, was it in Swamp?
You got the big key to Hera.
Oh.
Somewhere.
I missed that one, actually.
Somewhere Karma was. I'm pretty sure it was Swamp. Hey, Zafakil, want to help us out?
This is why we have trackers. To correct this one, the commentator inevitably says something horribly, horribly wrong.
He says, no, I don't wanna, but I will. It was in Swamp. You're welcome. I mean, thank you.
That's a very shiny set of armor for Kane.
It sure is.
I believe we just turned our Dragoon into a red male.
I'm pretty sure he's still a Dragoon, Zeke.
Probably. Ooh. Are we counting items?
Well, we can't get the big chest anyway, because we don't have the big key.
We just dropped down from freezers, I hope we're counting items.
I mean, we dropped down freezer from Ice Tea, so that's...
We skipped freezer chest.
Did we skip freezer chest?
I imagine we're counting items, because Karma's been doing a really good job of that.
Yeah, Karma's counting better than we are, which is saying quite a bit.
And, Master Sword, Hammer, Cultister?
Easy. That's being facetious. Don't say that.
I think he still has a blue potion, too.
I think so. I think we've only seen Garrison drink of potions thus far. And honestly, you know, in Red Mail, this fight is a little bit less scary than it would normally be anyway. He did use his depotion glitch, we're being told. That's correct. He didn't have a bow, so he had to PCU Pod.
You know, I forget PC is a thing.
Mr. Hi, I know how to mimic clip.
Well, it seemed useful, so I decided to learn it.
Uh-huh. I'm the only person on our team that can't mimic clip. It's so weird. Anyway, nothing out of ice so far.
I was the only person on my old team who couldn't hover, so...
Hey, you know what's funny?
The fact that we have a fourth crystal for IB Karma?
I don't know if funny is the word I would use for that. The fact that ice didn't actually lead to anything. Which, you know, still isn't funny. This is probably a good play for Karma. Going back up to Palace of Darkness now. Because you're not going to be any closer to it without a flute at any point anytime soon.
How many trips to Paradox Cave do you want to do?
Too many. At least 6.
I'll be completely honest. It took me a lot of effort to find a way to say that didn't involve singing.
Well, here goes Mimic Cave now, and Mimic Cave says, "Here, have some more. Here, go to Zora."
Yeah. Let's see what's up in
Garrison.
Tower of Hera.
Garrison is going. He still can check Ether too, and we also can check Spike Cave, provided we have anything in our bottles. He does have 2 blues, so he can
bought 2 blue.
He can brute force Spike Cave if he wants. You know, that's like my secret weakness is Spike Cave, right, Garrison?
I mean, we do kind of wonder where the cape is.
Can you imagine the cape being in the Cane of Burnus spot in Spike Cave?
Well, then we know the Cane of Burna is not on Mushroom.
That's true. Nice roadblock.
Who likes dead rocks?
Yeah, we like dead rocks. No, we don't like dead rocks.
If you say you like dead rocks, you're probably lying to me.
Well, it's not one of the 2 red things we're looking for. Actually, we're looking for anywhere up to 4 red things here. The cape for the mushroom, the cane, the boots for the item on the right side desert, or the fire rod. Oh, boots also open up a couple other checks too. Hey, look! It's a flute.
It's useful-ish.
I mean, we have flute and mitts. You can literally activate your flute in the light world next time you're in Kakariko, which would require this check to be powder to push us in that direction, or maybe fire rod. How about the key for the basement? Oh no.
Maybe it's a vanilla. It's not a vanilla Tower of Hera small key. It makes a lot of sense for Garrison to be doing the basement because he's up here.
Yeah, in this circumstance, I don't think you skip the basement. Garrison wants to actively play with this file room. Oh man, that was actually, like, kinda sketchy. Garrison, please be careful.
Please be careful. And down goes Helmsor King for IB Karma. He gets his Greg.
Don't look now, Karma's at 5 crystals.
Yeah, and we can't get any more without a Fire Rod and a Cane of Samaria.
So one of those 2 items has to be up here somewhere, right? Or possibly even in Mire? It's a compass in the Tower of Hera.
Can you imagine a compass in the Tower of Hera, big key chest?
Yes, I can. It's not my favorite thing in the world.
Now we're going to go up the mountain featuring IB Karma, only he'll be able to get a couple more checks. And we are getting 2 checks that are scary right now. Because there are 4 checks locked behind the hook shot.
I don't think we saw Garrison go for the Turtle Rock Big Chest either, so I would say 5. Because didn't we see a number of keys in TR?
We did see a number of keys, and Garrison is buying us more potions, so probably Ice Palace security.
I feel like Ice Palace is probably what you feel like you have to do here. And having the mitts, too, makes this Ice Palace dive a little bit nicer for Garrison as well. Although that was not a very nice thing for the Zero to do.
Right, Hookshot Cave.
There is your
fire rod.
There is your fire rod.
It's red.
Well, there's your other. Oh my goodness!
It's all red.
It's Bloodshot Cave. It's all red. Seeing nothing but red. Oh my goodness! The boots are actually huge here because that's 2 more checks that Karma can do. That Garrison cannot until he goes to Zora.
And he won't be going back up there until after Swamp Palace, at least.
You think he's gonna go dive Swamp before paying Zora? Is Zora far isolated?
No, I mean, even if he gets the hookshot, he will do Swamp first.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. Oh, no.
No, he does Zora after Ice Palace. You're right here at Ice Palace.
Yeah, at least he has mitts, too, to make Ice Palace into Zora make sense. At least Garrison's going to force to blue mail. Yeah, because he's been playing kind of intentionally on green mail. He didn't want to walk out of the way to pick up the mail on Floating Island, which is reasonable. Not Floating Island, Zora Ledge. Oh my goodness. I was watching him check Floating Island and just said it.
You were watching Karma check Floating Island.
Yes, I was watching. Did I mention I'm cross-eyed?
Is that like cross keys?
Yeah. Symptom of the cause. Anyway. So we know this is nothing. We're going to be able to see the rest of Tower of Hera. And actually, that opens up Pyramid Fairy for IB Karma as well. We're looking for exactly one thing.
We just want one thing.
And it's absolutely disgusting. And that is not it. In fact, he is going to absolutely spurn the flute.
At this point, what does the flute give you? Fast access to Desert Palace. And, hey, you know that Hera basement?
Yeah, we're not
Karma's
checking that until we check
there.
the rest of the dungeon. Because why would you go to Hera basement right now when you know there's an item on the boss, when you know there's an item in the front, and you're only looking for one more item? Hey, we didn't reset this, did we? Hour 15. Make sure you give these two a follow. W. Garrison for our runner from Chad. IB_Karma for Crystal Roller Room. Crystal Roller Room, huh? Crystal Roller Crew.
It's red.
It's red. You forgot to count items, Karma.
Well, he did pick up the one, so it didn't register in his head.
You were doing so good.
Admittedly, Tower of Hera is easy to forget the items.
It really is.
Basement. Yeah.
So
follow the runners.
Follow your runners. Follow these two fantastic folks and Zeke Highwind and Zaphakel. Follow Speed Gaming 1 through 6 and the ALTTPR League 1 through 4 for invitational and open league action all season long, and all of your rando and speedrun needs.
We had a poke.
Hell, there's another poke. What do you have for us today, Moldorm? And is it the King of Samaria? Oh yes! My god, it is! And that is go mode for IB Karma! It is in the best place to have a go mode situation for IB Karma.
He is going to go over and drop down the center ledge and mirror.
Yeah, this is done deal. You're still on Master Sword, so he might still, at the very least, look at what's going on Laser Bridge. But we know there's no sword there for him.
Well, he has to look at Laser Bridge for one thing.
Oh yeah, he needs a key, doesn't he?
This is not key sanity, just wild big keys.
I mean, it's big key sanity as opposed to small key sanity. This is rather unfortunate for Garrison, because that hook shot just led to everything. And I mean everything.
Yeah. And like I said, he will probably not make it up there for another 10 minutes, because he has full clear Swamp Palace. Because when you find a hook shot and you've already done the mountain, you're not going to think to go up to the mountain. You're going to clear Swamp first.
Probably looking at that Quake medallion and going, silly game. See, what's really nice, too, you get the cape. So even if you don't see another sword, with 4 bottles, still sitting on enough money to buy 3 potions at the Dark Lake shop, and half magic cape, your Master Sword Silverless isn't as daunting as it really seems.
No, it really isn't.
Yeah, just a reminder, these two are currently open league runners. This is a pair of teams right now at the top of their division. Both went 2-0 in the co-op AD week for week 1. This is their first of 2 meetups this week. Who's playing the other game?
I believe that is a matchup between our tracker Zaphakel and I believe I've seen Norsk Maddie hanging out in chat as well. So,
And I'm sure Zaffical would have some thoughts on how he expects that game to go. So we'll be keeping an eye out for that as well. Lots of action for the league all week long. It's only midway point. We're already starting to talk about Casual Boots Week, but there's so much Invrosia left to play.
I mean, I love Invrosia. You know that. Okay, I don't love... It's not that I love Invrosia. I'm actually kind of mixed toward Invrosia itself.
I'm just a big fan of Inverted. Yeah. I think Inverted's fun. I just can't wrap my head around it. I keep not figuring it out. Like, look at this. Karma's in go mode at 118. He's got his 7 crystal dropping into his lap. And I'd probably still be looking for 2 big keys right now.
6.
Is 6? Hey, look, it's my arrow. Zeke, count again.
Okay, I thought that... For some reason, I thought that Harrow was a pendant and the skull was our last crystal. That is 7, you're correct.
Yeah, that's 7 crystals. So, hey guys, at the top of the screen... At the top of the screen, you see everyone's HUD. At the top of the stream, I said, hey, this is one of those modes where you do get to guess a number from 1 to 22.
So, Ruby, do you have a favorite number for the Ganon's Tower Big Key?
Yeah, outside of GT and already in my hands.
Because I know you and I both have come of the opinion that we don't play the guessing game while we're on commentary. But we do like to at least talk about it.
We acknowledge that it exists.
I like it being not on the torch.
Karma, where are you going?
I don't think Karma knows there. But let's go get our hookshot for Garrison. This is just an unfortunate spot for hookshot.
Yeah, we thought the bow was going to be bad for Ivy Karma, and then he went back around to it, and it so turns out paying the big fish is such a big deal on this seed. And, you know, the one thing that probably could have helped Garrison here would have been the boots. Well, here's the problem, is the boots are just in Hookshot Cave.
With everything else you're looking for.
Yeah, everything but the Keen of Samaria.
Which is just behind it.
So, Ivy Karma goes into the left side of GT first here. We're going to see a peek at the the Stalfos room, looking for a big key, possibly looking for a sword.
That's a small key.
Well,
That's a sword.
I believe we have willed a sword into existence. Now, how about the big key, huh? No? Okay. Now, if it's in Hope Room...
3 small keys.
Technically it's 2, because you don't count the pot key.
2 small keys. 3 small keys.
All right, you were correct in saying that Garrison was going to go straight to Swamp Palace, because he is.
Wouldn't you?
Bruh. I'd have been in Swamp already. These two are beating me on the seed right now.
I think Karma's beating me on the seed right now. If I was playing this.
You know what I think? I think
Karma hit a really good route.
Beating the seed right now. Like, in real time.
I think so. Hey, look, more money.
Hey, you know what's not in this room?
The big key.
Or the compass.
Why did we go to the compass room then?
I don't know. Hey, Zeke, chat wants to know where the boots were. You want to remind everybody?
Yeah, the boots were, in this one little place called Hookshot Cave. Which, Garrison's already been up the mountain. Ah, there's where the Hera Big Key was, okay.
Yeah, Hera Big Key in Swamp, blocking Keen of Samaria. Hookshot also blocking the boots and the fire rod in Hookshot Cave. In other words, every hoverer's nightmare.
Mm-hmm. It's great, isn't it?
I mean, I'm trying to be impartial, but to be honest, I would rather the boots be in Hookshot Cave, please. Make me go get them. Make me earn my boots. Right, the big key hunt continues. So far, no joy as we approach now the fire snake room and the randomizer room. And it's not here either.
What some runners would like to see in this next room is actually a small key. Do you know why?
Because that pretty much guarantees that the key's in the same room.
It forces it, actually. Because in the same vein as Left Side Misery Mire.
Well, I mean, at that point, you don't even have to look at the... Oh my goodness! Hey, you found the big key and then the small key in the same room. How about that?
So, game's tower climb.
Yeah, it's climb time for IB Karma. Tempered Sword, Red Mail, and 16 hearts. How do you feel coming up the tower in this situation?
Honestly, behind. That's how I usually feel going up against tower.
Oh, Karma absolutely is sweating. He was so late to a bow, he swears that his opponent probably got that 20 minutes before he did. And you know what? I think that's not too far off.
It was 15.
Okay. I'm exaggerating just a little bit.
But no, you be honest. I always feel behind going to GT, and you know it.
I always feel behind, even if I'm like 10 minutes ahead.
So yeah. It's climb time. It's prime time.
It's prime climb time. Prime.
But entering the gauntlet. And Garrison's about to pull probably the funniest check in the Swamp Palace.
What, it's the big key across from where it normally is?
Yep, in Big Key Shuffle.
Yep. You'd love to see it. You also
funny.
hate to see it.
As a runner, you hate to see it. As a viewer, it's hilarious.
I would say it's hellacious, but you know. The last thing you want to see is, oh look, it's the big key of this dungeon, because it's like, well, gee, thanks, game. Now I know I could have just not bothered looking for it elsewhere. It's worse when it's like Crystal Mire or Eastern or something.
You ever have a vanilla big key to Ice Palace in full key sanity?
Yep. You ever have a vanilla Turtle Rock big key in full key sanity?
That never feels good.
In Entrance?
Also never feels good.
Sure didn't.
You ever have a vanilla hammer?
You ever have a hammer and pod?
Anyways, we are through the Wizropes now. Excuse me, that spike block just got in the way. Now we are through the Wizropes.
So the spike block is absolutely #1 goaltender. Some more diver down action. Favoring the lamp to do this torch puzzle saves you a bit of magic and not having to worry about whether you'll run out. But of course, with half magic, that's really not too much of a concern here. So we already know what's going to happen for Karma. And where do you think Garrison thinks he needs to go right after this? And,
You want my honest opinion as to what the game might say it's pointing toward?
shoot.
Caneless Mire.
I was thinking the same thing. That's another one of those unfortunate circumstance of routing sort of deals. Karma getting a little greedy with these checks here. You think he's looking for silvers?
Maybe.
Nice to have, though. They do save you some time, but you got everything you could possibly need. At Tempered Sword, I feel. Unless you're really not comfortable with your silver this way.
And we've seen Karma. He's pretty good at this.
He might not be playing as much as he used to in past years, but he is, you know, for the past almost 90 minutes now. Karma's been showing us he's still got what it takes. And for Garrison, this is just an unfortunate circumstance of routing really not paying off for him. That one Orphan of Zora. And Rando be a cruel mistress sometimes, where all it takes is one check to derail your entire run.
3, 1, 2.
Pretty good. 3 cycles, nice.
Zapko informed us that Karma has been putting in a lot of practice, especially for his match. I think Karma was looking forward to this match as soon as the schedule got revealed. Because I think both teams saw this matchup and were like, yep, this is the matchup that's happening.
I feel like when you play with friends, or you play against friends, or you practice with people that you just hang out with on the regular basis, when the league schedule comes out and you see that one of your friends' teams is on your schedule, in your division, you already know. That's like a Pokemon trainer locking eyes with you as you pass through a route. You already know. I mean, it's time to do battle.
You and I both played 2 games worth of co-op All Dungeons last season because of that.
Yes, against each other.
Exactly. But it especially is hard when 2 runners in question are former teammates from a previous season.
Nice recoil.
Did that fire bat just recoil from one torch to the other?
Uh-huh. He went all the way across the arena. And this is Garrison getting everything he could have possibly wanted.
Late.
His boots, his fire rod, go over to Hera, his Cane of Samaria, his go mode, and it's just... It just feels bad, because it's one of those circumstances where Rando just decided that it was gonna be Rando today. Because let's be real here. Garrison had the early game.
Arrows in the Dark World. Dark World. What didn't we do in the Dark World? Spike Cave.
Spike Cave? Oh no. Oh no.
Or Pyramid Fairy.
I mean, well, yeah, Pyramid Fairy is a thing too. So getting those triples on Ganon with the Fire Rod and the Torchlight setup. Unfortunately, going coast to coast, corner to corner there is not easy to do.
We're going a long distance today.
Yeah, Garrison with his Hook Speed Herapod now up the tower. He doesn't know about the rest of the checks in this dungeon. He already knows about the flute. Probably drop for the big chest and then get his piece of heart out of the compass chest.
And that is 12 spins on the pig. So get your GGs in chat.
Wait, that was a cape. Shows you how much I'm paying attention. Hey! Look at that. IB Karma is going to take this one. With an official time in the race time room of 1:31:35. GG to Karma, GG to Crystal Roller Crew taking the icebreaker in this matchup. Now 9 points to 6 with a game left between these two that could still tie up the top of the division.
Oh, this is a series I was excited to see. What about you?
Things could get very interesting moving forward here, because you could very well have, with the other 2 teams that are right behind them, 2-1 already. If everyone splits, you could have a 4-way tie at the top of this division.
That's always fun.
And there's a lot to look forward to in Desert Palace in the Open League. You've got some great teams hanging out here. After these 2 guys, there's Acai. They're not ones to tally with too hard. Grouchy old men aren't someone to take too lightly, I would say. And they're sitting at 2-1 after their first game as well, so there's plenty to look forward to here.
And I believe we have been joined by IB Karma. GG's, my friend.
GG's. Now that I can finally actually breathe again.
Oh, I get that. I get that. Gotta love that 10-minute delay, right?
Yeah, it gives you a few minutes to calm down.
So, about that bow location.
Real quick, I do believe that is a forfeit from W. Garrison as well, so get your GGs in chat for him.
Yeah, you know, sometimes Rando be the way that you enjoy finding everything you could possibly need, and sometimes, as Zora is showing us just a moment ago, that tickle beam. That's not having the Zora money, just being 34 rupees short. That hurts. That
But
one spot.
But yeah, about that bow location, Karma.
A little unfortunate after I dipped Pod Eastern. Just a little.
Only slightly.
It ended up not being too bad though, because I didn't re-dip Eastern. I just did Pod on the cleanup, and just prayed that the mountain was my answer.
The answer was yes, it was.
Because I left, I did realize that I'd forgotten to do Mire Shed completely, and I was like, well, hope nothing's there.
I'm pretty sure Zaphigel's going to call a team meeting on you.
I'd be worried.
Because that's not the only thing you forgot to mirror back for. You could have mirrored from Hyrule Castle to Pyramid.
Could have. I don't know. I like doing it with the pod route, but I mean, it's probably faster to do it with the castle route.
And we have been joined by W. Garrison as well. GG's Garrison.
Hello, GG's.
GG, Garrison.
I made a pretty big error going from Ice Rod Cave up to Zora River. I forgot to farm up the extra 40 rupees, got up there and was like, I'm just going to have to make peace with not doing Zora, and ouch.
Zora did not accept that peace.
No, that was the end of the game right there.
You made the, oh well, it's probably nothing. There's so many other checks in the pond. And then it was everything. And tell us, on a show of hands, how many of us have never been there? I shouldn't see any hands up.
Maybe we have some people who are new in chat.
I mean, if you're coming out the gate and you're playing and you're not skipping stuff and coming back and going, oh, it was just there the whole time, then, man, you should be in this tournament. Come on now.
But yeah. Again, GG's to both of you. We had a blast commentating the Dark Side matchup.
Yeah, thanks for picking it up. Like, I was excited about this matchup. Sorry that it ended up going the way that it did, but
I wonder how close it would have been if you had Zora money.
I think things would have been a lot different, yeah. I felt really good about things, except for two errors. The first time that I was doing Castle Escape, I forgot to mirror to check Pyramid Ledge. I had to go back and do that later, and it was a lot more messy when I went back to do that. And then the other error was, and I was thinking about it going up to Ice Rod Cave, and something else crossed my mind, and I forgot to grab the 40 rupees. It would have been a little bit weird trying to get into Pod afterwards, but I think, well, Hookshot would have pushed me into Swamp right then and there. So maybe I would have found them. I forget what was in Swamp, if I would have found the money for Pod in there.
That's the real mess of this one, is Swamp gives you the Hera Big Key.
So
yeah, then I probably would have skipped Eastern instead of doing that right after Pod, and yeah.
So you get your Hera Big Key. Here's the problem with all of that. Now you're going through Turtle Rock with no Fire Rod and making the same checks that you made without the Cane of Samaria and still not finding anything.
Yeah, I ended up having a overworld death early that pushed me away from Ice Rod and Flipper's checks for a long while. And it was actually, I think, my only overworld death.
Thanks, Crabs.
Yeah, I got pinched between a crab, an Octorok, and a bird at 2 hearts.
You want the bird, ideally.
Yeah, you just see if the bird will take you for a ride instead of getting run over by a crab.
I felt really good about my early Dark World and picking up the ice rod really early. Like, I thought that was going to be a good thing for me, and then it just... that was not the thing that ended up being the differentiator in the race.
So
I think I got it early, too.
So what really, like, you two converged on the mountain at the same time and got your hammer within a minute of each other. What this really came down to was a tale of two isolated / orphan checks where you both went into Pod and Eastern. One of you had a bow on your first trip. The other one paid Zora.
You could call it a tale of two fish.
You call it a tale of two very mean fish having major items of progression. How dare
you don't like that.
No. So, Vanilla Silvers, anybody?
They were Dark World, so you had to be?
It was... I think if my calculations are correct, the options for your Dark World spots remaining were Pyramid Fairy left, Pyramid Fairy right, and Spike Cave.
Pretty gross.
Would have been interesting. I actually think I considered Spike Cave early.
I did too, but...
We had hammer and we had like what 3 or 4 bottles like 30 minutes in.
Yeah.
Garrison, I was surprised you didn't end on Spike Cave. You know, after it beat me twice.
Oh, I was just ending wherever the Cane of Samaria was, and then that one, after getting hookshot and fire rod boots and Cane of Samaria were all just sitting there free. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, that was just unfortunate. We saw the hookshot cave clear, and it was all red.
Yeah, I was walking all the way up to the mountain though. Like I cleared all the crystals and then went mountain. Did hookshot cave, went Hera. And then went TR, obviously. I skipped the whole Light World mountain. Except for Hera.
Yeah, I gotta look at where I was when I didn't have the money for Zora. If I had the money for Zora, I need to figure out what it was that I still had outstanding and try to figure out if there was anything left that I would have missed, because I think at that point I'm skipping Eastern. I'm getting up the mountain a lot sooner. Because I was waiting for a long time for hookshot before going up the mountain.
Based on what we had having the hookshot, you would have missed nothing on the overworld because there was nothing left.
So I already had all the over. Oh yeah, then that game would have been completely different had I farmed up the extra 20 or 40 rupees. And I was standing right there by the rupee cave too.
It's unfortunate. And I don't think it's the first time this kind of thing has happened to people either.
No, and you know what? With all of the seeds played daily, I promise you, it won't be the last time. And it won't matter which level of play you're at. You could be one of the most competitive souls in the entire world at this randomizer, or somebody just dipping their toes in the water to see how it feels. And something like this can still happen.
Yeah, I just want to caution anybody thinking that it was something like I got randoed. I didn't really get randoed because that was an error. That was an unforced error. I didn't have to skip Sora there. I could have, if I had paid a little bit closer attention, I could have had the money easily for that. And I planned to have the money for it, and then it skipped my mind as I was coming out of Ice Rod Cave.
You got randoed in the sense that the rando put everything else behind that check, and not in everything else available.
Yeah, in the case that if Karma made the mistake of not mirroring for Bo, and I made the mistake of not getting the money for Zora, the the idea that like one was significantly more painful than the other. Like, I guess you could say I got randoed in that way, but I mean, or I could have just farmed out the money and it wouldn't have been an issue in the first place. So I feel like before that point, I was probably in pretty good shape before that point. It felt like things were panning out pretty well.
All that said, do we have any other final thoughts about this race from either of you?
Just GG's, and we got another one tomorrow between Zaf and Maddie, which should be pretty fun to watch.
That's gonna be exciting.
Yeah, and I figured this matchup was going to be the brutal one for both of our teams. So like, I'm not surprised that it could have gone either way. So, GTE to Karma, he took it this time. I'll get him next time.
This is just a sign that there are two friends racing each other here. Because even though you're on separate teams, you're still friends.
We're old teammates. We played together for 2 years. First year we've been divided, and then we had to play each other's opponents. Thanks, League, for putting us in the same group.
How is this a surprise? This happened to me last year, remember?
I mean, Zeke and I played together in Season 3, played against each other in Season 4, and teamed back up here in Season 5, so it's more likely than you think.
You might be able to get back on a team next year.
There's only one thing really to say there. Thanks, Drosy.
Thanks, Dante.
Blame Dante.
So
if you have that emote from the leagues, put it in chat.
So no matter how this one panned out, give these two a follow once again. W Garrison, IB_Karma. Make sure that you keep an eye out for tomorrow's game between Zafikel and Norsk Maddie as we do our second round of Invrosia. And we see if these two still end up knotted up 9 points apiece, or if someone is going to go 2-0 this week and stay undefeated. But, you know, you two have to hold your head up, because Inversia's still not an easy mode to just kind of step into. And we've been around the block a few times. We've seen when Inversia first came about. Some of these younger players are probably tasting Inverted for their first time.
It's worth noting, there's a good chance we have this Game 2 on Restream tomorrow. But this time, by the look of it, it's probably going to be on one of the ALTTPR League channels.
Oh man, I'm going to be excited to watch that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Zafikel and I have really met each other this year in Challenge Cup, and he's been looking to get some revenge on my team, I know. So he's definitely prepared and gunning for Maddie, I know. And I know that Maddie on our side has been preparing the same, because this is such an important matchup for us.
I'm going to imagine that both of your teams saw this matchup and knew exactly who was playing whom.
No, the first thing that happened was Zafikel threw the gauntlet down and said, "I want you, Garrison." I'm like, "There's no way. I gotta play Karma."
Okay, you knew exactly who was playing who.
Yeah.
You and Karma
Zafikel
knew
was a
you were
little
playing
bit
who.
confused, and he's sitting in the channel right
Shut
now,
down.
like probably biting his lip.
You got an Andy Cry emote in chat. So I'll let you take that for what it is.
Yeah. Big shout-outs to the runners. Give them a follow. Shout-outs to Zafikel for tracking today. Shout-outs to Ruby for taking this idea I had to commentate this race for our friends. And running it with me.
And make sure you give your props where they're due to SpeedGaming putting us on tonight. Big props there. Putting us on as an open league match here on SpeedGaming 4. We also saw some other stuff going on too earlier this evening, so if there's some VOD material, you got Invitational and Open League action to have a gander at. Tomorrow, probably going to see some Open League games over on the ALTTPR League. One game in Invitational to have an eye on. That is going to be Shackwell's Digging Game and the Spec Rock Bonkers. That'll be at 6:10 Eastern, pending a channel. It looks like they've got some volunteers, so if Invitational and more Ambrosia is on your palette, have a look at that one. But that should do it from us here tonight, here at Speed Gaming 4. Thanks again to my wonderful co-com Zeke Highwind, to our tracker Zafikel, to our runners, W. Garrison, Ivy Karma. Make sure you're following all of Speed Gaming 1 through 6 for all of your randomizer and speed running needs, and also our foreign language channels for Spanish, Portuguese, French, and German broadcasts as well. And we do have some simulcasts of League in those native speaking languages as well. And the ALTTPR League 1 through 4, if you're following the Open League, or sometimes SG gets busy, and we got to have a game somewhere. So, any final words from Zeke here?
Have a good night, everybody.